Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you please turn off all electronic equipment as we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Attention, salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Becker.
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg.
I am here.
A couple additions to the agenda. We have swearing in of 2 firefighters. Commissioner Amadeo.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, before I get started, I just wanted to make a brief comment to the fact that we come under civil service regulations in the city of Margate. And what we as city commission are very proud over the fact that we get to appoint Margate kids that grew up in our community to positions in our police and fire departments. They're the kids we want. They're the young men and young ladies that want these jobs, and that's what's so important. And then we have great firefighters and we have great police officers and women. What I'd like to say is, through the recent contract negotiations with the FMBA, we put a provision, or the city administrator helped us along with Brian Duffy to have a contract that we offer an early retirement incentive so that we can move and get the kids that we saw on the list to become our next generation of firefighters. Where we sit right now is, in the past 3 years, we've appointed after tonight, we will have appointed 5 young men to our fire department who basically grew up in Margate. One grew up in Linwood, which has been a great asset to our department because his father was a firefighter and is the chief in Linwood right now. So it's really a good day in Margate for the Margate City Fire Department. So we're going to swear in Chris Fantasia first. So Chris, would you come up with whoever you want to hold the Bible for you? You see, Mom is already very proud. Chris, I'll ask you to raise your right hand, put the left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I state your full name. Do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. That I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of firefighter in the fire department of the city of Margate to the best of my ability and knowledge. Of the God. Congratulations.
While they're pinning them, I'm actually going to add a couple other things because I saw Chief Clayton standing in the background. One of the assets that came from this as well is that both Christopher and Hunter, who's going to be the next one to be sworn in, came up through the ranks in the Longport Volunteer Fire Department. And the part that helped us is they came to the fire department already fully trained and certified. And it made it a lot quicker for us to put them right to work and on a shift, and helps us out tremendously. So thank you, Chief Clayton and Longport, for helping us out once again. And cheaper. And cheaper.
The more important thing, taxpayers say you're welcome.
That's what's so great in the city of Margate. There you go. Hunter, you ready? You bringing your mom and dad and your sister up? I just want to say one thing, that I'm extremely proud of Hunter, because I've watched him since the day he was probably born. I saw him probably 5 days when he came home from the hospital. Because his grandfather was one of my closest friends in life. And right now, means so much to me that you're here, and you deserve this, and you really worked into it. You worked hard, studied to be a firefighter, and placed really well on the civil service test. So I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. I, and state your full name.
I, Hunter Kazay,
Do solemnly and sincerely promise
do solemnly and sincerely promise
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully
I will faithfully,
and impartially
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform and discharge
perform and discharge
all the duties of the office of firefighter
all the duties of the office of firefighter
in the fire department
in the fire department
of the city of Margate,
city of Margate,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and knowledge.
and knowledge, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Get up again.
Steps.
This is fun. Put it all the way through.
Yeah, thank you.
I assume the one on that side is.
Getting a lot of exercise. Put them for me, right?
All good.
of you don't know, this is Susan Reed Batter, she is the new New Jersey Senior Runner, 2018. You can't talk into that radio, come on up, man. Not working, This is the proclamation of the city of Jersey. Whereas Susie Newstatter has been proud Miss New Jersey Senior America 2018, and whereas the title of Miss New Jersey Senior America is awarded to the contestant that has entered the age of elegance and best exemplifies the dignity, maturity, and energy of all senior Americans. Whereas Susie Newstatter successfully demonstrated those qualities through her philosophy of life speech, her presentation and stage presence, her tremendous vocal performance of Home from the Broadway hit musical The Wiz, and her interview responses, all of which reflected a confident, capable, and talented woman with no limits in sight. And whereas Susie Newstatter's skills and spirit have long been witnessed in the Margate area, where Susie is the third generation Margate resident, having raised 2 children here while learning Susie has been performing arts camp for 10 years and managing her professional singing career, which began in the Atlantic City casinos and expanded to locations throughout the world. Whereas Margate City couldn't be more proud to share Miss New Jersey Senior American 2018, Susie's accomplishments are a shining example to all, young and young at heart, that there is never an expiration date on the appreciation of grace, talent, and many stages of youth. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Margate City Board of Commissioners that Miss New Jersey Senior America, Susie Newstatter, deserves recognition and congratulations of her fellow residents of the city of Margate City, where she has brought smiles and joy throughout her gift.
I just do want to say congratulations to the young firefighters. I grew up in Margate, and I think that we have a very special town here that we need to just embrace, because when people from other parts of the world come to visit me, the first thing they say when they come to my house is, "Where do you live? Where is this? This is utopia." So they really, really appreciate. We're used to it, but it's really a beautiful, wonderful place. It's a great place to grow up, and proud, and I love Atlantic City, and I'm just proud to represent this Senior New Jersey and the Senior America organization. Thank you.
Absolutely. We also have 2 former Miss New Jerseys, Joanne Santori and Becky Lasai. And I was fortunate enough to attend both of their, I was at Harris for Becky and I was at Harris for Joanne. And I've actually watched that whole process. It's unbelievable. The girls do a wonderful job, and it's great representation. We've had 2 from Margate and 1 from Atlantic City in recent years. So it's all good. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
October
And
1st.
Susie is such a tremendous singer. I've been at parties at Julie's house when Julie first moved in, interlude. That was 20 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
Awesome performer. You've done a great job. Thanks for being a part of it.
October 18 at Resorts, there will be the national pageant where she will be competing against all the other states. So
Yes.
keep her fingers crossed. She's got a good chance.
Yeah, she'll be the winner. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Okay. There being no special items for discussion, we'll go right to department head reports. Scott, why don't we start with you?
Mayor, there is one item to bring to your attention. We received a letter dated, on the record here, letter dated July 3, 2018, from the law firm representing Harbor Vista Homeowners Association. They have requested the city to, they call it a petition, the city to allow them to acquire property in Amherst Avenue, on the east side of Amherst Avenue, which I believe is in front of their condominium structures. They would like to purchase those parking spaces. We do need to respond to their request. Have you had a chance to think about this? Or?
Can we?
Yeah.
I have.
You have it?
Yeah,
Tom?
I received a copy too and read it, and in reference to it, they presented to us the parking situation on Amherst Avenue, and this appears to me that it would just add to it. Am I correct?
Well, one could easily form that opinion. I suppose you could, yes. They were complaining about lack of parking, and now they want to acquire the public parking spaces on Amherst Avenue, on the east side of Amherst Avenue. That's the ocean side
Side,
of Amherst
right.
Avenue. So, but you have to respond to them.
Solicitor, isn't this already in the right of way?
Those parking spaces are in the right of way.
As opposed to other things that have happened that were not, they were on.
There is a difference.
Property.
Separate block and lot. pieces of
Correct.
property. Well, I've never heard of like giving anything away that's within the right of way unless you can tell me, if you have a right of way that needs to be abandoned, there's a whole law that deals with that, and it's
Or
not like-
public benefit?
It's not like selling,
No, I don't.
Well, here's what he says. We anticipate the city would be amenable to the sale of the property to the association upon similar returns, because he's referencing the other side of the street where you have the new bulkhead being put in. It was a private lot that was deeded to us, and we've been requested to deed back a portion. So I do need to respond.
Well, I also never understood if we have a parking dilemma and taking away to sell to private people helps that dilemma in any way at all. It just doesn't make sense to me. Shooter.
Sounds like it's a no.
That's the feel I'm getting here, that this is a no. So if you instruct me, I will respond to Mr. Baranowski and tell him it is no. Although I see Ed Berger here, maybe he'll relay that message. Okay, but I think we should respond officially.
Okay. Anything else, Scott?
The NIFWIF grant we spoke to at the Capitol meeting, and I would urge us to pass that resolution so that Mr. Rotella and Stu Farrell will move forward on that application to seek to obtain additional grant money for our dredging, which is related to the resiliency and to restoration of wetlands. So I think that's what I have, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Scott. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to add that things continue to be very busy in the fire department. I forwarded some information to Commissioner Amadeo and Business Administrator Dini regarding our call responses in comparison to last year, and we're approximately 20%, or about 200 calls over the same time frame from 2017 to 2018. The Business Administrator has tasked the fire department with coming up with a report to kind of itemize that, and we're working on that to kind of give a brief description on why the increase or where the increase is from. In addition, I failed to report on two things at the last meeting, and I apologize, but I just want to put two positive things that occurred. June 28th, we had the open house Margate Library Night of the fire department, and it was a great night. We had approximately 200 kids show up for the event, and everybody had a great time, and I just want to say thank you to all the firefighters and those that attended, and the FMBA for helping us sponsor the event. And then also on the 29th, we had the first annual Wellness Day here at the fire department, which had the mammography van or bus here, and that was a success as well. And we look to do that again in the future. And thank you again to FMBA Local 41 for helping us sponsor that. And we have two upcoming great events for the kids. We're helping with the Margate Recreation. We're going to do a fire prevention demonstration for them one day. And then we have the local Hero Day with the Jewish Community Center coming up as well, that we're going to do something with them. So just things continue to be busy in the fire department. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Lisa?
I just wanted to mention, you'll notice that there's a resolution on the agenda today regarding our bond anticipation notes. Notice of sale is going to, or actually was distributed today by our financial advisor, and we're going to receive all the bids and for the sale on next week, and we will be closing on those notes on August 7th in time to pay our existing notes. I'll keep you apprised of the results of the sale, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Lisa. Chief Wolfson?
Great, everything's great in the police department. I just want to report yesterday morning, through the assistance of a local resident, there was 2 arrests made regarding car burglaries. The assistance of Ventnor's K-9, they were able to apprehend both suspects in the bay on Jerome Avenue. Unfortunately, the resident got bit by one of the suspects, not the dog, the suspect, and he's doing fine. But apparently, they appear to be serial car burglars who've been acting throughout the entire state. We were able to locate warrants from a bunch of jurisdictions, so hopefully they're going to sit in jail for a while. But that should slow down our car burglary issues greatly. But the guys did a great job. That's all I had to report.
Good job, Chief. Thank you. Rich?
As Margate taxpayers know, based on the Margate city budget, there was no tax increase in the Margate city budget that was passed a couple of months ago. The tax bills usually go out this time of year and will be going out soon, but they cannot go out until we receive information from the county relative to county taxes and the official school board taxes. That information came in yesterday, and I'm pleased to report what I had sent you in the mail, the official documents from the county, that the tax rate in Margate for all levels of local government is $1.56 per hundred, which is exactly what it was last year. So therefore, the net result is not just Margate city government, but Margate schools and the county all put together. The tax rate is the same at $1.56 as it was last year, which means that unless there was a change in a personal assessment due likely to construction or some error or a tax appeal, that the overwhelming majority of residents will pay the same property tax in Margate for the coming year as they've paid in the past year. Now, the reason why I bring this up is not just to announce it publicly, but to indicate that there will be resolutions, I'm sure, at the next meeting, extending the date for receiving taxes that are normally due on August 1st, being that the bills are not sent out yet. And as has been the custom in this county and in this state for the last several years, while it's required to be done normally in June, here we are on July 19th just getting the tax rate. So we'll have a schedule sent to you by the tax collector by email over the next week or so when she knows when she'll be able to get the tax bills out, which would I anticipate in the next 10 days. And then there'll be a resolution at the next meeting extending the deadline for receiving taxes, all of which is similar to what's happened in the last several years throughout the state and certainly throughout the county. If you have any questions, see our finance director.
Anything else, Rich? Thank you, Rich. Ed?
Okay, I went into detail at the previous meeting on just about everything. Currently, any construction projects that were active are done. We're in the process of designing other projects. I don't know if we're ready to talk about the outfall pipe on Adams at this point or not. You let me know.
I think we should meet separately.
Okay. What I did provide everyone with information regarding that. I emailed I was able to put a packet together today, so check your email. There's a packet.
What the cost is for that, right?
With the cost and the previous correspondence on it.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Marty, you have anything?
Yes, so just one thing for me, and it's a sympathy, thoughts, and prayers to firefighter Duffy, who lost his father last night. And Margate lost a long-time friend, a great businessman here in Margate for many, many years. John was a great husband, a great father, a grandfather, a great family man, and a great fisherman. He was a friend of Margate and Longport, and truly a fine gentleman. And so let the family know we're all thinking about them and put them in our thoughts and our prayers. That's all I have. Thank you, Mike.
John?
Mayor, thank you. I too have to mention John Duffy, and my condolences go out to the family. John's brother-in-law is sitting right next to me. Part of Danny's success in his marriage is that he married John's wife's sister. He's a lucky man, as was John having Mary Ann. It's a sad day. As Maury said, he was very much a part of Margate in the 70s and 80s until Wawa came in and took over. But he was a good man, and he's going to be missed, and my condolences again to the family. I do have two things I want to mention, one being a concept that Maury, Commissioner Blumberg, had brought to the table several times, and with the implementation of Frank Ricchetti, installing new bike racks similar to the ones that were copied from the city of Longport. As I was down on the beach on Sunday and saw all the bikes lined up, it's beneficial, and there was like 30 bikes on the end of my street, all tied to a 2x6 that was probably two pieces, 16 foot, and another 5 or 6 foot on it. So that concept and that idea that you brought to the table, I think, is going to help us out for the future and the rest of the summer.
Thank you.
The mayor had asked me that he had received a message in reference to our beach patrol, which I want to make public. And it just said, just wanted to commend the Margate City Beach Patrol for helping me, a handicapped person. I got to the beach. Special thanks to Nick and others that picked me up on a gigantic chair to take me on and off the beach to be a part of my great summer. You guys are the best. That's one thing that we've talked about many times since the innovation of the dunes on our beach, is we're willing and we're going to be helpful through this process because we understand everybody wants to enjoy our natural resource. So in the future, this commission will sit down and we're going to revisit after this December, when the Army Corps is totally off the beach. We're going to have a whole program in effect that's going to help all our elderly and handicapped people to have full access to the beach. So, Mayor, that's all I have to say.
Excuse me, I have to run. That alarm was my mother-in-law.
Okay.
All the guys took off.
Okay, go.
See ya.
Just to dovetail on to John's comment about the bike racks, when Maury brought that up was 2 weeks ago, and in a week and a half, our Public Works Department had, I think, every street end covered except 5, and there were problems in the 5. And I think kudos to them, to Frank and his boys, and all that. That's really a great job. And an answer to a public comment and all that.
They did a great job.
Okay. I'd like to also comment on, Mr. Berger is here, what a great beach stock we had a couple weeks back. It was probably, the biggest ever. And once again, shows what, in partnership with the city, what we can all accomplish. Also, tomorrow, we are going to be exposed to Philadelphia television at starting early in the morning at 5 o'clock for a couple hours. Channel 17 will be here. at the locations will be on the website. So if you'd like to participate, you can go on our website. Tomorrow afternoon, Channel 3 will be here, and those locations are also here. So we're going to get 7-8 hours worth of free advertisements tomorrow. So if you're not doing anything, come out and we'll all party together. Okay? And that's all I have. At this point, we'll open for public comment. You have 3 minutes on any subject that was discussed here at the workshop.
Sewell 22 West Drive. A follow-up question to our esteemed solicitor. He mentioned additional grant money in reference to the dredging. Can he be a little more explicit? What was the previous grant money, and what is this additional grant money? And what is the total cost of this dredging project? 3 questions, solicitor. Take your time. Stop the clock while
John, let's get back. This is not a question and answer period. This is a public comment period.
Well,
Okay,
there was an ambiguity presented by the
Okay,
solicitor,
well, then write it-
and there's a
write it,
responsibility to explain himself.
Send it to us in writing. We'll be happy to make your comment and move on, John.
No, you had additional grant money, and it wasn't explained what that grant money was. I think the public is entitled to know what kind of grant money is coming down the pike, and how much of it will be covering the dredging project, and how much
John, you
will
have
be a taxpayer obligation.
John,
These
you
are
talked
legitimate
about this
questions.
before, John. You make your comment. And
I've made my comment, and you are negligent in not explaining the grant money. Let it stop there.
Okay.
Last question goes to our esteemed city administrator.
John, it is not a question and answer period.
Well, we'll make a comment on the
Thank
city administrators. How's that? Is that a little better, Mayor? Does that
Word is
assuage your concerns?
We're using up your 3 minutes.
I'll use it up in any fashion I deem
You
fit.
may certainly do.
And I'll refrain from questioning the city administrator, but I will make a comment that he says that there's no tax increase. However, what should be noted publicly, that there's been 30 to 35 millions of dollars coming online year after year after year. Yet, Mayor, we've not seen 1/10 of a mil in reductions, which if you look closely at our sister town, as Jay Lamont calls it, Brigantine Beach, they have had 3 tax deductions. And if your 2 co-conspirators think that in the election year, they can throw a 1/10 of a mil reduction bone to the taxpayers and think that's a grand thing to do, they're going to have to ease up on the psychotropics, Mayor, because it won't wash. You're not going to pull that stunt. Use the reserve to create a fictional tax deduction, Mayor. It's a fraud on the taxpayers. It is not real tax 20 seconds, Moishi. Don't panic. 17, 15. Just ease up on the KOPEC tape. I will finish shortly. 11, Mayor. 10, Mayor. 9, Mayor.
Can I count down, John?
Oh, yes, you can do a countdown.
Let's do it together.
5,
5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
See what you can do together?
I'm disappointed. He was on a roll.
Well, you can come back after the meeting is over. Is there any other public comment?
Ed Berger, 9402 Amherst Avenue. First, I'd like to echo the sentiments of the commissioners as far as John is concerned. John has been a member of the NBA family since I've been a part of it. Every major event that we've been involved in, he's attended our meetings. He's contributed way beyond the transportation expertise that he had. He basically provided transportation for our events for virtually nothing. The loss of John Duffy is a great loss, not only to the city, but to the NBA as well. And we saw him as a very close friend, and we will miss him very much. And that's, I'm very sincere about that. I hate to change gears in the same conversation to talk about something as globally insignificant as parking in front of my house. The letter you guys got was inspired by the activities of the city on Amherst Avenue as it related to the parking situation. The approval of the restaurant across the street, which would have required 60 parking spots, which required none, showed us that there was not a focus or priority on of the city concerning itself on the parking down in that area. Very evident by its actions. The second activity of not by public sale or auction, but by private sale through exchange for the bulkhead of the 7 parking spots to Jim Leeds, which was an opportunity for that developer to enhance the value of his property. And I'm not an attorney, but in what I read, my understanding is that when a city's got property that is either sold at public auction or it is sold by private sale if it's unneeded property. And I don't think that, necessarily if that was the case, you're determining that the 7 spots that you swapped for the bulkhead was unneeded property, that the 7 parking spots in addition to the 60 that the restaurant blew off was unneeded property. That inspired my neighbors and I to say, you know something, if a developer in the neighborhood can enhance the value of his property by paying some sort of consideration, whether it's bulkhead or dollars, then as residents of this city, that we too are entitled to enhance the value of our properties by reaching out to the city and saying to them that we want the exact same consideration that was given to the developer across the street from us. We feel on no uncertain terms that denying us the same opportunity that you denied the developer is either hypocritical or an exception. And in either case, we take exception to that. So that was the motivation behind the letter that you guys got and summarily dismissed today. I think that there's certainly grounds for the letter. I think that we certainly are well aware of the overall parking situation in the area. I think that other irresponsible actions like approving the development of the area without having an effective safety survey done of the area is also indicative that in this particular case, with me being one of the top cheerleaders for the city of Margate, to look at a situation and say that this was wrong, it was handled improperly, and as residents across the street, we felt and still sincerely feel that the ratables that were involved in this were put before the residents and the immediate residents that live across the street from the properties.
Thank you, Ed. Any other public comment? Is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
I know.